Okay, let's get into this one. Imagine a pretty ordinary evening for some teenagers, right? Doing stuff they probably shouldn't be. But then things take a turn. A really unsettling turn, blurring the lines between, reality and something else. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really compelling story from someone we're calling Noose. It's about a strange, terrifying encounter he had in an abandoned house.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that this is Noo's first-hand account. It shows us how this single event didn't just, scare these kids. It fundamentally changed things for them. We're going to explore the different layers here, see what happened.
Right. Our mission, really, is to walk through Noo's story, step by step. We want to pull out those key moments that made it so unforgettable for him and his friends. So, let's set the scene. We're talking 2002, Pattani province in Thailand. Noo's about 13, maybe 14. So, middle school age, M.2 or M.3 there. He and his friends, pretty typical rebellious teenagers, skipping class sometimes, looking for a bit of excitement. And this particular evening, Noo's and about 5 friends, 5 guys, 1 girl, they'd scrape together money for some beer, some liquor, but obviously underage, in school uniforms. They couldn't just drink out in the open. They needed a secret spot, a hideout, and that led them to this abandoned house.
That choice of location is really interesting. It wasn't some remote places right next to their school, a place they walked past every single day but never went inside. So it's familiar, yet forbidden, perfect for, hiding out.
Exactly. That forbidden feeling kind of sets the stage, doesn't it? Their little secret spot quickly becomes something much darker. The house itself was 2 stories, wooden, built up off the ground, maybe a meter or so, crawl space underneath. Looked really old, fallen apart, definitely creepy looking. Oh, and there was this dry well on the property too. Apparently it used to be for raising fish, but now it was just empty. Pretty deep, maybe head height, and about 2 meters across. But, even though it looked scary, New said they weren't really thinking about ghosts at first. It was still early evening, light outside, and there were 6 of them. Felt safe enough in a group. This was the very first time any of them had actually gone inside. To be sneaky, they parked their motorbikes over at their friend Jay's house, maybe 100 meters away, then walked. Inside, they found a corner room, one with decent light. But then things started to separate a bit. One of the guys, George, and his girlfriend, they wandered off into another room for some privacy. Weirdly, that room didn't have a door. And New, maybe just wanting to keep things hidden, he closed the door to their main room and locked it.
Locking the door. It's sort of ironic, isn't it? Trying to create privacy or maybe safety, but actually trapping themselves. It really ups the stakes, the isolation, when something external starts happening.
And it did. But 5 minutes later, bam!
Yeah.
A huge noise, like someone violently kicked their wooden door. Hard. New Bennett said everyone just froze, went completely silent. All that teenage bravado just vanished. Then after the bang, footsteps. But not just any footsteps, heavy ones, like combat boots, the kind police or soldiers might wear. So now they're absolutely terrified, shaking. But their first thought, not ghosts. They immediately thought, oh no, it's the police, catching them drinking underage, trespassing. That rational leap is interesting, right?
It really is. It's a classic way we cope. Our brains desperately try to find a logical, even if bad, explanation for strange things. It's like trying to fit it into a known box, even if that box is getting busted by the cops. It feels somehow less terrifying than the truly unknown.
Yeah, but that known box was about to get blown wide open. Those heavy footsteps started moving. From downstairs, up the stairs, towards their floor, getting closer and closer. It's an old wooden house, remember? So every step probably echoed, creaked, loudly. New, completely terrified, but I don't know, maybe just frozen with fear. He gets down low, presses his face right to the floor. There was a crack, like a rotted bit, at the bottom of their door. He peered through it. And what he saw just sent ice through his veins. A pair of big military-style combat boots walking right towards their door. He said he was shaking like crazy. Then at that exact instant, a blood-curdling scream from the other room. George's girlfriend. Just pure terror in that sound. And the boots, they stopped right outside their door. Then they turned and started walking away from their door, towards the scream, towards George's room.
Wow. Okay, so the boots reacting to the scream, that's already shifting things away from the police theory. It's becoming much stranger. Yeah. But what Nuna saw next, that's the moment everything changes.
Right. Because as the boots walked away, down the hallway towards George's room, New got a clear look. And there was no one wearing them, just the boots, moving by themselves. He was dead certain. Said he wasn't drunk, he saw plain as day. Can you imagine that shock? after thinking it was police.
It's more than shock. It's a fundamental break with reality. When you see something that your brain knows is impossible, it's not just scary, it's deeply disorienting. It shatters your whole understanding of how things work. That visual of empty boots moving, that's profoundly disturbing.
New was just reeling, total shock, extreme fear. He grabbed his friend's arm next to him and squeezed it, like really hard. Hard enough his friend yelped. But the others in the room, they hadn't seen it. They still thought it was cops outside. They didn't get why New was freaking out so badly. Then all hell broke loose. The others heard the boots reach George's room, heard George start shouting, yelling. Then George just kicked his own door open, the one without a door frame, remember, and bolted out, like frantically jumping away. His girlfriend ran out right after him, but in a totally different direction. Just chaos. So everyone in New's room just lost it. Total panic. Kicked their locked door open and scattered. Ran in all directions. It was pure survival mode. Every man for himself. New was one of the last ones out. And in the panic, he didn't even try the main path. He just ran and jumped. Jumped right over a barbed wire fence surrounding the property.
That leap, it just shows the sheer terror, doesn't it? Fight or flight kicks in so hard that you do things that are incredibly risky, even self-destructive. Escaping the immediate horror becomes the only priority, regardless of the consequences.
And there were consequences. He didn't land on solid ground. He fell right into that deep, dry well. Landed badly, sprained his leg, couldn't walk properly. And climbing out was incredibly hard. He could hear his friends screaming, running away further and further. But nobody came back for him. Nobody even ran towards the well. He was completely alone, trapped in the well. New said that was his absolute peak fear. He tried to yell for help, scream, but nothing came out. His mouth, his throat just totally dry, face pale, just paralyzed by terror. He kept trying, desperately trying to pull himself up out of the well, injured leg shaking, totally alone. And then he heard them again. The combat boots, walking right above him, right at the edge of the well. He just ducked back down, flattened himself against the well wall, trembling uncontrollably. But then a voice. Someone called his name. "No, come home. Where are you? Come out now. Come home." And he recognized it instantly. It was his mother's voice. Relief just flooded through him. But almost immediately, doubt crept in. His mom, here, now, she should be at home. It didn't make sense. He questioned it, but God, part of him just wanted to be her. Maybe she just happened to be passing by. A crazy coincidence. What do you make of that? The boots and the familiar voice?
It's a really potent mix. Extreme terror, followed by perceived rescue from the most trusted source imaginable. It could be the mind under immense stress creating what it needs most: comfort, safety, an auditory hallucination, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or something else. Something that knows how to mimic a voice to lure you. It's incredibly unsettling either way, blurring that line between what's real and what's not.
Yeah. So despite the pain, the fear, the doubt, that voice, his mother's voice, gave him a little push. He tried again to climb out. He struggled, pulled himself up, got his head over the edge of the well, and his eyes met the boots, the same combat boots, standing right there at the edge, looking down at him. That was it for New. Profound shock. He was shaking so badly he wet himself. Couldn't scream, couldn't move, just immense pain from his leg. The fear just overloaded everything. He passed out, blacked out completely. When he came to, he was still in the well, but silence. Everything was quiet, no sounds, no boots, nothing. Somehow he managed to drag himself out. He limped away from the house. The street outside was weirdly quiet, empty. He stumbled towards Jay's house where the bikes were, but the motorbikes were gone. Jay's house was dark, silent. He was too scared to even call out or knock. He finally limped all the way home, tried to sneak in late, dirty, hoping his parents wouldn't notice. No luck. His dad caught him, gave him an earful for being out so late, but New couldn't even explain, just mumbled something, went to shower, still trembling. The next morning, though, something else felt off. His mother woke him up, totally normal, no yelling, no scolding. Which was weird, because she was usually the strict one, especially about him messing up or staying out late.
And that brings us back to the voice, doesn't it? Her acting normally, not mentioning going out to find him, it just deepens the mystery. It strongly suggests the voice he heard wasn't real, or at least wasn't her, which makes the whole encounter even stranger, more inexplicable. What did he hear?
Exactly. He couldn't let it go. Later, helping his mom at the market, he finally asked her carefully, "Mom, yesterday, did you come looking for me?" Chica Joe's giving him a, "Looking for you? Where? What did you do? Why would I need to come get you?" No, it was just stunned. Mumbled, nothing. That denial. Chilling. Later at school, all the other friends were there, except George. They all confirmed the same story. Blind panic, run, grab bikes at Jay's, go home. Each one alone. George's absence was worrying. After school, he went to visit him. He was in the hospital. And he was. Not right. Disoriented, kind of delirious, eyes darting around, like he wasn't really there mentally. He couldn't remember anything after going into that side room with his girlfriend. just drinking at the house, then waking up in the hospital, nothing in between. The whole group was just traumatized. They swore they'd never go near that house again. They were even scared to hang out at Jay's place, just because it was close by and new. He had to walk past that abandoned house every day for school. He said he always kept his eyes down, never dared to look at it. Thinking back on it, New said it was the first truly unexplainable thing that had ever happened to him. And he stressed this point. He never actually saw a ghost or a spirit or anything like that, just the sound and then the sight. Of those empty combat boots, that was the terrifying part.
And that connects to the lasting impact, doesn't it? The psychological scars. Having to pass the house daily, George's breakdown, the mother's denial. It really highlights how sometimes the most terrifying things aren't visual monsters. It's the things you perceive, things that break your reality. The auditory element, the boots. It attacked their sense of what's possible.
Yeah. He said just imagining being back there, the feeling and having to see that house every day, that alone was terrifying enough. So, News Story leaves us with this really chilling question, doesn't it? What actually happened in that house? Was it mass hysteria, fear, suggestion, maybe the alcohol playing tricks? Or was it something genuinely inexplicable, an auditory terror that became terrifyingly real?
It certainly forces us to think about how we process events that just don't fit our understanding of the world. What does it mean when your reality gets shaken like that? The trauma they experienced, especially New and George, suggests that whatever it was, real or perceived, it had profound consequences.
Makes you think, how can one single, maybe brief, unexplained event leave such a deep, lasting scar? Change how you see your world, how safe you feel. What part of Muja's story really stands out to you? Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into News's really unsettling encounter. We hope it gave you something to think about, maybe something that lingers a bit. And hey, if you found this interesting, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Nudie Horror Docs really helps us out. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,